first of all, I want to thank y'all for having me here, allowing me to speak the word that God has given me. I appreciate the opportunity, every opportunity I get. Thank Brother Rick, Sister Conger, for just allowing me to come here and do this, and y'all for hearing this. I apologize I didn't get here and give my scripture or anything to Woody when I got here, so y'all bear with me. I'm going to be speaking out of Daniel chapter 3. Brother Rick asked me last Saturday, he asked me if I would preach this morning, and I was like, yeah, I'd be glad to. And last Sunday morning, coming in, as I was driving, God started giving me some things, and I was like, all right, he's working early, because sometimes it seems like I pray all week long, and I don't get a message until like late Saturday night. So Sunday morning, last Sunday morning that I was driving up here, God started giving me some things, and I was just really excited that I was getting it so early. Well, then we got here, and Junior started preaching, and lo and behold, word for word, what he was preaching was what God was giving me. So obviously somebody needed to hear what Brother Jay spoke on last week, because he was giving it to me as well. Well, as he was preaching, he kind of started giving me other things, and he took me in another direction from where he originally started. And so this is where we're going to go today. But before I start, how many of y'all had just faced just hard times, I know we all have. We've all faced things that just seems like it's impossible for us to get through. It just seems like we're just never going to get through it, or it's just almost torture trying to go through it. Brother Rick was talking about my school. It seemed like it was almost torture to go through that at some points in time. And when he said I graduated with honors, that wasn't the case. I didn't graduate with honors. I did graduate, and like he said, it was an honor to graduate. And quite frankly, it was some of the dumbest stuff I've done in my 23 years of military time. But we made it through it, and there was a lot of prayer that I made it through it. And I read a lot in Joshua while I was there. I don't know if y'all know much about Joshua, but Joshua was a soldier, so I kind of connected a lot with Joshua. So I've done a lot of reading in Joshua while I was down there, just to get me through. And it was a lot of reading, a lot of prayer. And I know I had a lot of prayers back here to get me through that, and I needed every bit of it, just to go through and to keep my mouth shut and do the things that I was supposed to do and carry on. Because it was rather difficult sometimes to keep my mouth shut when they wanted you to do something that was absolutely insane. But we done it, we got through it, and hopefully I'll never face anything like that in the military again. But anyway, I'm going to read out of Daniel chapter 3. And I know we've probably all heard the story about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But I just want to kind of talk about that for just a few minutes. I want to read about it and talk about it for just a few minutes. That's one of my favorite stories out of the Bible, because it really shows you the power that God has. But I'm going to start. I'm not going to get into the front part of it, but we all know, or for those that don't know, I'll explain just real quick. King Nebuchadnezzar built a gold statue. It was like 90 feet tall and like 8 to 9 feet wide, something like that. And he put out a decree that when the sound of music came up, everybody would bow down to it and worship it. Well, we all know that one of the commandments is thou shalt not have any idols, any graven images, and stuff like that. So that's just the front part of it. Now, he called in all these nations, all these political people, I guess you could call it in today's time. He called in all the political people and said, all right, we're going to make this decree, and when we hear this music, everybody's going to bow down and worship. So I'm just going to take it right here, starting from chapter 3, verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee, they serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my God, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? And then he's going to give them a second chance right here. He said, Now if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, you shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And this is a question that he asked. And he said, And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Mm-hmm. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? He asked them that question. He probably shouldn't have asked them that question. Because that might have, just tweaked God up just enough to say, well, I'll show you who I am real quick. But if you look at that and think about each one of us in today's time, day and age, are we facing the same thing that they were facing? No, they ain't telling us to bow down to these images and these golden statues or anything yet. But they're telling us that we should bow down, that we should not stand up for what we believe in. Mm-hmm. I was watching the news this morning. There's, how many of y'all know that the Boy Scouts are changing their name? It's the Scouts. Mm-hmm. Why? So they can allow girls and everything else in there. The state of, I think it was Minnesota, has got in their state Congress right now, they got a bill trying to pass to take the words, "In God We Trust," out of every school. A lot of schools have already got it out anyway, but it surprised me that they still had it. But they're doing this to try to take this out of every school in their state. I seen a guy that was standing there. He was standing up there kind of at a podium, and he was talking, and he was explaining why this needed to be off the school's walls, because they got it engraved in the school's wall. And he talking, and the first thing he said, he says, I don't think we should have these words on our money, and we certainly shouldn't have these words in our schools for educating students. That's not telling us to bow down and worship a graven image, but they're basically telling us we need to shut up and just go over there and just do it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a lot easier for us as Christians to maybe not bow down, but maybe not take that stand that we should be taking, because it's just easier. Or we see it as a fight that we're going to lose. Odds are, if one of us goes up there and tries to fight it, what's going to happen? You're going to get slapped around a little bit and say, go on about your business, and you're going to have to tuck your tail between your legs and run on back home like a whooped dog. That's just the way it is. But when we unite and stand together, we can stop this. Mm-hmm. The only way we're going to be able to stop this is we face these furnaces together. Mm-hmm. We have to face these flames together. If we don't face them together, we're going to be defeated separately. Mm-hmm. I want to keep on reading just a little bit more, because that's just kind of the opening to the part of it. My favorite part is on down here just a little bit. Let's see, I lost my hands right here. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. In other words, basically, they just said, we ain't gonna talk to you about it. We just ain't gonna do it. And we all know that a king or people in a position of power, they don't like it when they ask a question and somebody don't answer. So Nebuchadnezzar probably got a little bit more mad, a little bit more furious at that point in time. But if not, be it known thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Nebuchadnezzar I'm sure I can see it now. He's probably getting pretty angry, pretty mad. Doesn't give him a second chance. He thought he'd be nice to give him a second chance. You know, most time back in them days, they didn't get second chances. They didn't do it. They just got thrown in the fire, got their head chopped off, put on a cross, whatever it was they was doing, and they just done it. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed. And I looked that up, and that's talking about the expression on his face. The expression on his face. And I can see it now. He probably got red, just got that real angry look, just mad as he could be, because he's just being defied right there by three people in front of his whole kingdom. They had all these politicians and all these other countries' languages. If you read on up there, it said other languages, people all over. And he just got defied by three people. Three people. We're afraid to go stand up when we're individually. We're afraid to go stand up. But like I said, what if we join forces? You know, each church join forces with other churches. We have to stand up as Christians. All right. Well, the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. In other words, and I looked this up, and it don't mean 7 times per se. It means, if you read in there in this time, they use the word 7 as complete. In other words, get it as hot as you can possibly get it. So I'm pretty mad. I'm pretty hot right now. I want to see how hot we can get it. Get it as hot as you can get it, hotter than it normally is, and let's see what happens. And he commanded that the most mighty men that were in his army bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. These men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their garments, and were cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Pause just a minute again. This is the part that I really like. This is the part that gets me excited every time I read this. Every time I hear this, it gets me excited. He said he wanted them to be bound by the most mighty men. You know, he didn't want just somebody just putting little ropes around them or whatever. He wanted them to be bound by the most mighty men. Anybody ever been tied up for something before? Whatever. Get tied up. It's hard to get loose. It's hard to get loose if you got your hands bound up like it. And I can picture it now. I'm sure they probably tied their feet together and their hands together, and the most mighty men, and they was probably walking like this right here. They couldn't do anything, couldn't move. It's hard to move. When you get on here and you keep reading, if you don't get excited, I'm sorry. I get excited when I read it. In other words, they had everything they had on. He bound them up and said, therefore, because the king's commandment was so urgent, and the furnace was exceedingly hot, the flames slew those men that took them up, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It got so hot, they were bound up, tied up, and I can just picture it now. They were walking like this right here, trying to get up to the furnace. They had these big mighty soldiers that were, supposed to be in better shape than everybody else, stronger than everybody else, just strength-wise, mentally, physically, supposed to be just all that. They was pushing them up there. Well, these flames were so hot as they got close to the furnace, it killed these guys. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego still going like this right here. Me, I would have probably stopped when these guys died. I probably would have stopped and been like bouncing the other way. but they had faith that either God was going to take care of them or they was fixing to go meet God. And at that point in time, it was one or the other was going to happen. They was probably looking at the soldiers like, what's wrong with y'all, when they fell down. But they kept going. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. We look at that now, and we could stop reading right now, and we'd all say, well, we know what happened. They're gone. But when we keep reading, it says, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said, True, O king. Yeah, kind of, okay, yeah, you know we did. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt and no form, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Yeah. Amen.
Now, any of y'all ever burn trash, burn leaves, start a grill up and had it flame up on you? It gets hot. Just a little bit of fire will singe the hair on your hands. And it burns. Don't take much of a fire to burn you. You can take a little big lighter and stick it right there, and a couple seconds later you're going to have a burn on your hand. Now, they just fell into a furnace that the king had said heated up to as hot as you can possibly get it, so we can make this quick. And here they are walking around. Not only are they walking around, when they fell in, they was like this. And now they're walking around like this. Loose. Free. How? The power of God. This God that he questioned, who is your God that can save you from me? Well, he just found out who this God was that can save you from me. He just found out. So Nebuchadnezzar, astonished at this, he's like, well, I got to see what's going on here. So he decided he's going to go up and call them out. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, before this, it was like, who is your God? You know, I don't know who you think your God is. I have all these other gods that take care of me. Who is your God? Then he says, of the Most High God. He's starting to recognize at this point in time. Ye the servants of the Most High God, come forth and hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was the hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Amen.
So they just walked into a furnace, no telling how hot it was. These furnaces back in these days was used to melt irons, melt golds, stuff like that. It probably used a furnace to build a statue that they built. And these 3 men just fell down into it, bound, and then walked out of it. Walked out of it. Then it says, you know, it started out saying they had all their clothes. They were bound. And when it comes out, they still had all their clothes. You ever seen something burn in a fire? It goes away. They still had all of their clothes. Didn't even singe the hairs on their heads or their arms. And it don't take much. Like I said, I've lit a grill and walked over to it and opened the deck up, and it singed the hairs on my arms really quick. It don't take much. Didn't even singe the hairs on their arms, their heads, eyebrows, face, nothing. So I think Nebuchadnezzar's question got answered, right? So who's God? You know, who is this God that you serve that will protect you? Well, he answered the question. But not only did he answer it, he really showed up and showed out.
That's right.
Because, I mean, he sent them into a furnace and they come out. And it said, didn't even smell of fire. Didn't even smell of fire. Now, we live out in the country, and Sissy loves to hang our clothes out on a clothesline. And we've got a burn barrel across the yard from there. And she won't even let me burn trash when there's clothes hanging out there, because if I burn the trash while her clothes are out there, when she brings the clothes in, she says, "It smells like garbage. I can smell the garbage burnt." She does. She's looking out because she knows it's true. But it is true. It is true. I mean, I can burn it across the yard, and sometimes my dad will build a fire up there on the other side of the shop, and we'll have clothes out there. And you can still smell it. You can still smell the smell of fire, the smell of smoke on these clothes, and it's across the yard. Now, these 3 guys fell into the furnace. They come out and didn't even smell like smoke. No. Only God could do this. No. The last I checked, God has not changed.
Amen.
He has not changed. He will not change. Since the day he created till the day he takes us all back, he has not and will not change. Now, if he'll do this for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they stood up for what they believe in, will he not do it for us? He will take care of us either way. He will protect us either way. Create all kinds of havoc up here. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not worship any god except their own. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language we speak, anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. There's no other God that can do what God did for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, if you want to go back and read the whole thing of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you can read it, and you can see in there's one point in time where they talk about, whether you throw us in the furnace and we die, or you throw us in the furnace and God protects us, either way, God's going to protect us. Because if you throw us in the furnace and we die, what are we going to do? We're going to go be with God. They wasn't scared. They wasn't scared to stand up and say, this is what we believe. All too often today, we don't stand up because we're scared of what somebody's going to say. We don't stand up and say, hey, you shouldn't do that because of this, because we're afraid somebody else over here is going to say this. And we just don't stand up for what we believe in all too often. We have to come together as Christians and fight for what we believe in, or it's going to just keep getting worse. It's getting worse every day. We're getting pushed to the corner, getting pushed to the back each and every day. More things that are not right is getting lifted up. Just like I said, the Boy Scouts, the In God We Trust, they're trying to take it off of schools. It won't be long, they're trying to take it off of money. And what still amazes me, do y'all know that every session of Congress, every morning, they open it up with prayer? I'm still not understanding how they can open it up with prayer, and if they believe what they're praying, how they can vote and do the things that they say that they're doing. Everything, as Christians, we're supposed to just accept and let everything go. And that's what they're telling us. Well, it don't affect you. Well, it does affect us. And we've got to make a choice. We're either going to have to stand and fight, or we're going to have to kneel down and bow. Now, before I close, I want to go back. When he called out, he said, I want to go back up here. Let's see, where was it at? In 26, it says, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and hither. He called them out. Well, at this point in time, he was still seeing four men walk around, right? He called them out and said, y'all come out here. When they come out, where did that fourth person go? Anybody? I was talking this story with a really good friend of mine, and he asked me that question. He said, so where'd the fourth person go? And I was sitting there, and at first I was like, oh, no. And he's like, you reckon he's still in the fire waiting for you?
Yep.
Reckon he's still in the fire waiting for you? Because every one of us have these fires that we have to fight.
That's right.
Have these things that we have to stand up for. And we're either going to bow down or we're going to get thrown in the fire. What's going to happen when we go in the fire? God's standing there waiting for us, right? He's standing there waiting for us. This country, this world, you know, they're telling us to keep going and keep going. Then they keep pushing this and keep pushing that. And like Brother Rick said, I'm in the military. I see it a lot. It wasn't too long ago. They come around with this class that we was all supposed to take. And I said, okay, of course, I always ask questions about what classes we're taking or whatever. And the class that we were supposed to take and be trained on was transgender training, because they've made it acceptable for transgender to be in the military. Well, I caught a lot of slack about it because I said I will not take that class. I said I won't sign and say I've taken it or anything. Well, I caught a lot of stuff out of it. But that's the way they're going. They're not just pushing everything on us all at once. They do a little bit here, and a little bit here, and a little bit here, a little bit over here, and before you know it, they've got the whole thing taken up. Right. They're not just throwing it all on us at once, and it don't look like they're taking this big thing away from us, but when they take here, and they take there, and then they take here, and they take there, before you know it, they've got it all taken up, and then there's no place for us.
Right. Amen.
When are we going to stand up? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to take back what God has given us? Fight for what God has given us. He's done proven that He will protect us. There's stories all throughout this Bible where He's protected people that have been persecuted. There's from the front of it all the way to the back of it. It's all over where He will protect you. And if He don't protect you, or He will protect you, but even if something happens and you don't make it through the persecution that you're going through, what's the worst that can happen? You go to heaven. If that's a punishment, punish me. I mean, not saying that that's what I want, but if that's a punishment, what kind of punishment is that? That's not a punishment. Sounds like heaven. In John, just real quick, I'm going to flip over here. John chapter 15, verse 20. This is the words of Jesus. It says, "Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have prosecuted me, they will also persecute, I'm sorry. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also." And that's the words of Jesus. If they have persecuted me, they're going to persecute you. That was just one story out of this Bible where it shows God protecting when somebody questioned whether He could protect or not. Like I said, God hasn't changed, not from the beginning until the very end. He has and will be always the same. He loves us, each and every one, all the same. There's no question about whether if I stand up for this, if God's going to protect me. He will. God will be there for you the whole time. He will protect you. He will get you through the flames. He will take you into the furnace and carry you out. If you're facing the flames, He's standing there waiting for you on the other side. He's going to catch you when you fall in the furnace and carry you out. He's going to take your bindings that you're being bound with, take them off of you, and let you walk freely out.
That's right.
But you have to accept Him. You have to choose Him. He's already chosen you. You have to choose Him. you'll stand with me.